Well, today we're going to do the Tomintoul, which is a single malt whisky from the Highlands, from a sub-region of the Highlands called Speyside. And Tomintoul is from the Glenlivet area, not the Glenlivet distillery, but Glen means valley, and Livet is one of the valleys in Speyside where Glenlivet distillery lives. But within that valley there is a little town called Tomintoul on the banks of the Avon River, not the ding dong Avon calling, the Avon River, and that distillery is called Tomintoul, which has no connection with Glenlivet other than it is in the same valley, within the same sub-region, within the same region. Now, the Speyside distilleries are different, very different to the other types of distilleries, being the Islas and the Islands, and even some of the coastal Highland or mainland distilleries, in that they tend to not have peat, and they don't have the briny and iodine characteristics that the island whiskies have, which makes them a lot more influenced by the barley that they use, and tend to be driven more around the flavours within the distilling process. And the oak maturation can be quite fulsome using American oak, but with the Tomintoul, it's more an American oak barrel, so it tends to have a very light impression. It takes away the unpleasantness and adds a little bit of character, a little bit of vanilla generally, and but generally the major facet of that American oak is just to remove the unpleasantness, which means this whiskey is called the gentle dram. Gentle. Now, just out of interest, I've been speaking with a few chaps who, let's say they're novices to single malt whiskey, and they're looking for something that's smooth. I find that term quite difficult to explain. What's a smooth whiskey? Once you move into single malt whiskey territory, I think that they're all smooth, because the harshness tends to come from the grain whiskies, and obviously there's no grain in a single malt. However, there can be a lot of layers of complexity with things that I mentioned, with the peat and the smoke and the really distinctive distilling flavours, and even the barrel power that can come through from some of the Oloroso sherry casks. So this is the other end of the spectrum. It's what I expect. I haven't tried it yet, but I expect it to be a very gentle and smooth and delicate whiskey. And I haven't had one of these for a little while, so I'm quite looking forward to it. Now, just while I'm opening the bottle, this is quite a young distillery. It was built in 1976, I think, and had an upgrade in 1986, where it was basically doubled in consumption. Again, predominantly for the supply to the blends, but the Tomintoul is now being quite heavily distributed as a single malt as well. The 33 years, which was released, did actually win Best Whisky of the Year quite recently. This is the 10-year-old, which has won some silvers and bronzes and golds at various spirit shows, so should be okay. Okay, it's quite delicate, as I expected. Looking at the colour, it has a bit of bronze to it. Not to be put off by the orange paintings behind me, but that is a bronzy whiskey, and given that it's only had American oak treatment, I think there may be some deception there. Might be a little bit of caramel dropped in just to bronze it up a little bit, probably for the American market. You can see there against the white background that it's quite golden, but also has a hint of bronzy in it. Oh, it is delicate. It almost has this hole where it comes off quite fulsome in the first palate, and then it's like a mid-palate hole where it doesn't really power through, and then on the finish it really comes up and builds again with intensity. So I'm getting the lovely after flavour coming through. But it is a very gentle whiskey. Wow, now it is a smooth whiskey. This is, you couldn't, I'm actually trying to find ways to describe this whiskey that aren't gentle and smooth, but it really does have that real gentleness and smoothness. It has a lovely warm, really nice warming after flavour, but it is a really nice, gentle whiskey. So I hope you enjoy it. Look, I think this is a good drinking whiskey. It's not too complicated, but very elegant, and there's a lot to enjoy in it. So please join me.